It's that lovely time of year in between Christmas and New Year. It's lovely and quiet. The birds are singing and I just want to come out and spend some time in the winter sunshine, just doing a little bit of garden maintenance. So I also showed the other day that where the rhododendrons used to be, I've now planted this lovely rhododendron. And I've had a few questions asking, what have I done with the rhododendrons? Well, it hasn't been wasted. And if I just spin around here, and we'll go down the bottom of the garden, and I can just show you where it is now. So hopefully it'll come back. But the area now next door to the Wolfenii has the rhododendrons there. So there's plenty of room there now for that to grow. And just over behind the greenhouse, the miscanthus grass has been planted just there. So hopefully they'll grow up now and give us a little bit of a screen at the bottom of the garden. So one of the first jobs that I wanted to get done today was to remove some of these stepping stones that I've got in the centre of the garden, as these don't really serve a purpose there anymore. And I can use these over near the bird table, as that area I'm walking back and forth every day when I'm putting the bird food out, and they'll get a lot more use over there. So time to move these over to the other side. And one of the other things that I wanted to do was just to move this Nandina. It's a lovely plant and it's really nice for this time of year as it's evergreen and got some beautiful colour on the leaves. But this I want to move over to the other side of the garden. And then I've got a few more slightly smaller plants to put over here. And the first thing to move is one of the roses. And I just want to pop this over to this side. We've got some lovely earth in this garden, so I'm not going to add anything into the soil. And the winter time when the roses are dormant, this is the ideal time for moving them. I've stripped back the leaves, cut the branches back now to about 10 inches tall. And now that they're dormant, it's the ideal time just to transplant them. And it's best not to put roses in any of the parts of the garden where you've had roses growing before. So make sure that the hole is dug deep enough, place it in, and then just backfill. And I also make sure that I haven't got too much mulch near the centre, as I don't really want it touching the plant, but just enough really, just to give the roots a little bit of protection. So what's left to do now? Well, just to move one of these lovely Euonymus. These are lovely evergreen, a lovely limey green leaf on this. And just again, dig a big hole and just pop the root ball in. These are really hardy and they'll grow almost anywhere. So it's an ideal time really to go moving plants about. It's not frozen ground here and we're quite lucky. We do have it quite mild compared to some parts of the country. So although I go moving quite a lot of my plants around, it might not be a good idea where you're living. But my plants don't seem to mind. And the last thing just to replace these stepping stones. These ones, these small round ones, can go over the other side, and I'm just gonna put down in their place those nice rectangular ones from the centre bed. So I just level it off slightly with the trowel. I don't go measuring anything. I just give them a little stand on just to make sure that they're quite level. That's fine. And then the last thing to put in is just to plant in that Nandina. This will grow to a decent size. It's still quite small, but I really do love the colour on this plant. Lovely autumn reds and bronze and different colour greens. And it's lovely to have some totally evergreen colour. A beautiful plant, and I've got many of these in the garden. And all of the ones that I bought were all reduced at the time. But they've all grown into lovely looking plants. Give the trowel a quick wipe, and then just to water in what I've planted today. I know it seems a little bit strange to be watering as it is the end of December, but believe it or not, we haven't had any rain for quite a few days, probably even a week or so. We had glorious weather yesterday, cold but a lovely blue sky. Just move in now the last of the paving slab that I don't need, and I'll just tuck that away in the corner of the garden. And a quick tidy up, and then just to put the round stepping stones over the other side, as sometimes I feed the bird from this side. Will I reach? Yes, I will. And that's that. Everything's done in the garden. Another day of doing some jobs in the garden. So I managed to finish work a little bit earlier today than what I normally would. So I managed to get home before it gets dark. And there's one or two things that I need to do today. And if I just walk around the back of the Tiki Bar, you can see now that the Tiki Bar there is still wrapped up for the winter with a tarpaulin sheet. But if I go behind the Tiki Bar, this is the area where everything gets dumped, out of sight, out of mind. And I've got a big pile of sticks there, and old fencing, and that was from when I was doing the fence there. So I just tidied up behind the old fence. So I've got 3 now. Bits of fence in there that don't match, but at a later date now I'll do the one in the middle so that that one matches as well. So this is the area that's a bit of my dumping ground, and it's always a mess behind here because I don't really come behind here very often. And this is where I keep my old pots. I have got an olive tree here, which is growing okay. But for the time being, I've got to get my loppers out, chop this up and place it into the bag there. That's what we get in our area for recycling the garden waste. I don't know how you manage to do it in your particular area, but we get one free bag, which isn't very big, and then we've got to pay £1.50, and they come and collect them about every 2 weeks here. But I do use the compost bin. So at the bottom of the garden there, that's where I keep my compost bin, and that's full to the brim at the moment. And this just sits on the triangular bed. I don't put any food in it though. It's just the green from the garden and banana skins. So this is the area up here that I normally film the garden from. And you have a nice high view up here of all the garden. And I noticed today when I came out into the garden just how tall this intervisor have got now behind me. It's absolutely huge. It must be about 7 foot tall. But it's lovely now when I walk up the garden to be walking through an avenue of plants, which is exactly what I wanted to achieve when I started the garden. And I'm so happy about that. And even in the middle of the winter, there's still plenty going on in the garden. So along the back of the garage, in this bed here, I've got the wildlife pond. You can't see an awful lot of it now because the ferns this year have grown really large. But tucked away inside this wildlife pond, there is a water lily. And I need to get that out to cut it back because I don't really want it to decay in the water. And I also need to get a little bit of that duckweed out as well. I should have done it earlier on in the year, in autumn time, but to be honest, I completely forgot about it. So I am not looking forward to putting my hands in here, but I've got my sieve for cleaning and my secateurs. So shall I put my hand straight in? I think I should just go for it and see if I can get that water lily out. This is going to be cold. Freezing. Right, there's not much on it. I thought there'd be a lot more. But I'm going to cut it back. Cut these old roots off. And then pop it back in. That is cold. I'll just get up as much as I can with the sieve, skimming over the top. I'm quite lucky here because I don't get any leaves really falling into it. And I think that's as clean as I'm going to get it for the time being. And it does look a lot cleaner than what it did. So that's another thing to put off the list. So after a little bit of a tidy up, this is what the wildlife pond looks like now. So it's a little bit cleaner. And that'll be okay now until the spring. That looks a lot fresher now. Much better. And just look at the lovely colour as well on the stems of this plant here. Beautiful bright orange. And this is an Acer Baihu. And even with no leaves, still looks completely wonderful in the garden. It's pretty cold out in the garden at the moment. It's 4 o'clock now and it's about 2 degrees. So it's getting really chilly now when the sun goes in. So time now to go in, have a cup of coffee, and I'll see you next time. So thank you so much for watching, and until next time, take care. Bye for now.